am I?
Are we? We are recording. I was looking at the Final Fantasy 14 online store.
Of course you were.
Well, I mean, I'm back into the game. I guess it's kind of my bad boy of the week, honestly. Is
yourself?
No, the game.
The game.
Yeah. So, well, I guess more specifically, Yoshi P, who's like the director or producer or something. He is my bad boy of the week because he did some bad game design, and I consider that to be a crime.
Sure.
And to be more specific, so like, you know how in games, like if it has like it's like online games with like expansions and stuff. Usually if you're like max level or something, you can just, or what was max level, you can just go to the next expansion. That's like really the only requirement, which makes sense. In this game, Final Fantasy 14, which is a game I've been playing on and off since it came out on the PS4. No, actually I played it on the PS3 in the open beta. So whenever that came out, I've been playing this for a long time on and off. And I'm still stuck at level 50, which is not the max level. That was the original max level, but there's been like 3 expansions since then, so now it's like 80. And I haven't been able to break 50 because there's so many goddamn tedious quests that the game makes you do. Like, you just have to run around and talk to people, and then they're like, okay, now go to the other side of the world and talk to this guy. And then you do that, and they're like, okay, now go run to the other side of the world and talk to this other guy. And you do that for like hours, and they're like, okay, now do a harder version of a dungeon you already did, and there's no story reason for doing this. And I'm like, I just want to get to the new expansion. They're like, you can't. You have to do all this bullshit first. And it's really frustrating. Like, I hate it.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
If it's called Final Fantasy,
oh my god, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Why do they keep making more?
Is that a real question, or are you just memeing on me?
I'm doing a bit of a meme, but also it's a bit of a question.
Well, all the Final Fantasies aren't really related unless they have the same Roman numeral. So there's like 3 Final Fantasy 13s because it's like a trilogy, but like Final Fantasy 13 as a whole has nothing to do with any of the other ones.
Interesting.
Oh, they have this incredibly fat cat you can buy as a mount that can fly, apparently. It is super fat. It is the fattest. It like squishes down on the ground if you're just not moving. It's $24 though, which I think is a little pricey.
That's like the price of a different game.
Yeah, you could just buy you could buy Hollow Knight for that much, and then also another game.
You could buy Uno on the Nintendo Switch.
Well, if you already own Tabletop Simulator, you can play Hentai Uno for free.
That's true.
Which is that was a reference for nobody that listens to this podcast other than me, and I don't listen to this podcast. So
I love making a public joke for one person.
That's what my Twitter is all about, baby.
Yep. I believe it.
I posted how fat the cat is in the Discord. So if you see a weird fat cat in the Discord and you're like, what's that? That's what it is. For the folks at home who are listening.
A little foreshadowing.
Yeah, join the Discord. The link's on the Twitter, for real. I think I even pinned it.
Oh wow! Look at us.
Yeah, let me double check that. Well, I will make sure I pinned it if I didn't pin it.
It's fine. I don't think anybody is.
Oh, it's pinned, baby.
All right, we did it.
We did it.
You really came out of the gate with your bad boy.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's been bothering me. Like every night this week, I log on and I'm like, maybe I'll make some good progress. And then I make a little bit, but it's like I've been playing the same, like at the same level for like, not 24 hours on the dot, like, but something close to that. Because I'm taking my time because I get distracted because it's so boring. But
sounds like a good game.
It is, other than this one part. It's really fun. But it's glacial where I'm at right now. And I just want to get to the next area so I can unlock the Dark Knight class because it's very cool.
Oh, Batman's in this game.
He is in this game, yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I used to play Grand Theft Auto 2. The second one.
The second one. Grand Theft Auto games have a really weird naming conventions. Right? Because there's like GTA 3 and then there's GTA like San Andreas, which is a different one, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So they have like a bunch of GTAs and then GTA 4.
Well, there was GTA, which I played, and then there was GTA 2.
Wait, weren't the first two like top-down ones?
Yeah, I don't think that they were made by Rockstar.
I don't think so either.
So I played those two, and then I skipped 3, and then I played San Andreas, and then I skipped... What's the other one? Miami Vice? What's the... Like, it's obviously not Miami
Vice City?
Yeah, I skipped that one. And then I played 4, and 4 sucked. And then I was like, well, I'm never going to play 5 now. And then I bought 5, and I spent a day downloading it, and then I played it for about 30 minutes. But anyway, GTA 2, which nobody plays. It was a small indie game at the time. They made you go to a specific place on the map to save. So you had to drive for like 5 minutes in the city to save.
Yeah.
Which, like, not a good game design. Like, it would be dinner time, and I'd be like, well, I gotta save. And also it cost $50,000. I just remember that part. So you had to make $50,000, which took a while. And then you had to go to, like, the church where you save. And then, like, all your progress of all that money that you made, you're just wasting by saving the game.
Wait, what?
I
don't like that.
Yeah, it was pretty bad game design. And also, most of the quests were just going to different payphones throughout the city.
Why?
You had to, like, make a phone call.
That's how dated the game is. There's like payphones.
Well, it's like you're also in the criminal underbelly of the city. You don't want to be using your own phone.
Well, that's why you have burners.
Yeah, this is before trap fizzies.
And I love burner phones. I don't have any reason to like them or want them, but like I will catch myself just walking through a store being like, all right, which of these burner phones am I going to buy with cash right here? Just in case.
I have also done that.
It's thrilling.
Just to imagine owning a second phone for no reason.
I'm not even stopping at 2 phones. I'm gonna be having
8 burners. I've never turned any of them on.
A drawer of them. Yeah, it'll be very funny.
It does make you feel like Kevin Spacey in Baby Driver or something.
I don't want to feel like Kevin Spacey in Baby Driver or Kevin Spacey in anything. He is a bit of a bad boy, too.
He is. Was he a previous bad boy? Possibly.
No, I don't think he was.
He should have been.
Well, he can be a future one.
Yeah, not this one, though, because I did research.
Wow.
You let it hang in the air a little bit?
Yeah, I was reading a work email. Because I had my work laptop open.
That's fine.
Well, the reason why is because I was there was a big thunder at work. Well, it wasn't thunder. It sounded like thunder, but it was just all the power in the building going off.
Go off?
It went off, sis. And they sent us home. and I was like,
hell yeah.
well, it wasn't fun because they're like expecting me to work from home, which sucks. And I had Love on the Spectrum on in the background, which just made me sad.
That's fine.
I guess. All right, what's your bad boy?
Richard Allen Casso Jr.
That's quite the name. What did he do? What's the story?
Just hang on a second.
Okay.
So he went by Ricky, so I'm just going to call him Ricky.
That was my cat's name. My first cat.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Man. What a good cat.
Yeah. So he was born in 1967. And he was known as the Acid King. And now you're thinking like, oh, he invented acid? No.
Acid King. I thought that was Nick Oldershaw.
Ooh.
Got him.
Ooh. No, but like he's totally quitting this time, right? Like for real.
Yeah.
But like this time for real, he's done. Anyway, the Acid King. He was a murderer.
Yeah.
So one day he got very high at a party.
Well,
right?
one would expect the Acid King to do that.
Yeah. So he got high at a party. And while he's at this party, now, that's just for context. This is the early 80s. So, this is like right around the time that it's what's known as the Satanic Panic era that you may have heard of, where everyone was like, whoa, AC/DC is going to make you stick a knife in your eye. They're evil. Right? Like,
yeah.
You know?
No, they're just bad.
The music that mechanics listen to. It's from Satan.
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne. Ooh, a bit of a bad boy, Ozzy. But yeah, so people are very upset at those bands. So some of this story is a little bit shrouded in that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of just like looked at in a weird way because of the time that it happened.
The perception is warped, perhaps.
That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
So the Acid King, he's at a party. He's getting a little bit, tuned up, let's say.
Oh, I'll say it.
Say it.
He's getting tuned up, man.
He said it.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. So, secondary bad boy Gary Lowers.
Wow, this is a three bad boy in one episode kind of thing.
Nah, not really. Ricky is the main bad boy. Gary Lowers, not so much. A
sidekick. The Robin to
definitely not a sidekick, as you'll see.
Oh.
Uh-oh. So he's at a party.
Yeah.
And they're sacrificing dogs, they're watching Jeopardy, they kill the horse, whatever the media decided that they did at this party, these teenagers. So here's where it gets a little bit crazy, a little bit wowzers over here. So he gets tuned up, he passes out, and then somebody happens to perchance steal 10 bags of angel dust from him.
Uh-oh.
Now, this is in a small town of Huntington, New York.
I sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what you might imagine in a small town, people have big mouths.
That's what they say about small. The town's small, but the mouths, they're huge.
They're huge. So didn't take long until Gary Lauwers got found out that
He had
ganked some angel dust from our good friend Ricky over here.
You can't take a guy's tuned up, angel dust content.
Yeah, you can't be doing that. Yeah. He's 17. You don't know what he's capable of.
He's only 17. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, so they're 17 in this story. So Ricky figures it out, and he finds Gary. Wasn't that hard. They went to the same high school. And then he beats the shit out of him. As you might expect.
Yeah.
Got him. Fucking Gary. Dumbass. So the thing is, when he beats the shit out of him, Gary only has 5 of 10 bags.
Yeah.
So he still owes Ricky at this point. And then Ricky's friend, who is unnamed, is like, should we fucking kill him? What do we do?
Yeah.
And Ricky's like, no. We're just relax, dude. Just fucking chill out. We're just look, we beat him up, but let's just hang out. The debt's paid. We're good. We'll go into the forest and we'll smoke some weed or whatever. And I got my half back. I got to beat the shit out of you. We're good. Now, maybe you figure this out. Ricky is an unpredictable character.
Yeah,
and,
he doesn't.
So they're going into the forest, and Ricky decides to pull out a knife. And then he stabbed Gary in the face.
No.
And right in the friggin' face. And he, according to people there, it wasn't just the 3 of them. Apparently other people were there. And according to those people, Ricky kept saying, "Say you love Satan" over and over again. While he was just stabbing him in the face over 30 times.
That's cool. That's some nice flair.
Yeah, it is a little bit interesting. It's throws a bit of a wrench in there. Just yell, "Say you love Satan" over and over. And then so Gary dies. He does not say that he loves Satan. He is he's too busy being murdered.
Stabbed in the face.
Yeah, his eyes got gouged out. It's not a good day. Yeah. So then he goes to court, where they're like, "Hey, buddy, what happened?" And he said that Satan appeared to him in the form of a crow and told him to murder Gary.
Maybe it was just the acid.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was a mixture of narcotics and not the devil himself. And then they decided that he was guilty, which, good for the justice system. Nailed it.
That was kind of a low-hanging fruit. And sometimes they need that. They just need an easy layup.
Yeah, it's kind of nailed it on that one. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then he was in jail for 3 days, and then he killed himself. He hung himself with one of the bed sheets.
Well, did he kill himself or did he kill himself?
I do not believe that he was Epsteined.
Did young Hillary Clinton walk in there and
8-year-old Hillary Clinton?
That's where she got the idea for Epstein. It all comes together.
Yeah.
Although I think it was Patton who actually did the hit on Epstein.
Patton Oswalt?
Yeah.
Or General Patton?
No, Patton Oswalt.
All right, that's fair enough.
Yeah. And Hillary killed his wife.
It's good.
No one would expect it, other than me.
Yeah, you cracked it. So yeah, no one really knows what the deal is. Like, was Ricky in a cult? Was he a satanic person? Or like, you know what I mean? When he hung himself, did he like go home?
I mean,
You know what I mean? Like, he's welcomed with open arms by Lucifer himself.
I don't know what Satan's opinion on suicide would be.
Well, we know God's opinion.
I mean, God does not like it. That is for sure. He is very against it.
He's upset by it for sure.
It is a big no-no. But if I was Satan, not that but if I was, I wouldn't be super thrilled with somebody like offing themselves. I'd be like, come on, man. It just feels ignoble. It's like it's a shortcut to getting to where you want to be. Same way, if God, you killed yourself to go to heaven faster, you're cutting corners. I don't like that.
I also feel like joining the military is kind of like cutting corners.
Okay, explain.
It's like,
why is doing the military cutting corners?
Well, it's suicide by a terrorist.
What?
What? Listen, it's not a well thought out take.
Clearly.
I'm still reading about Ricky.
We do our research on this podcast.
Yep. So he was part of a loosely organized group of friends called the Knights of the Black Circle, which it's not a great name for a friendly group of high school pals.
That's actually, I mean, I'm trying to think if that's cringe or not. Like, I think that's
in the
kind
80s, it's sick.
I think it's kind of cool, especially that one of them murdered somebody. I think that's kind of cool. Like, if they didn't murder anybody, very cringe. The fact that real crimes were being committed by members, or at least one member of this guild.
Well, they were all drug dealers.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, then that's fucking sick. These guys rule.
Very cool. On at least one occasion, Ricky's parents admitted him to the South Oaks Psychiatric Hospital in Amityville for drug rehabilitation and psychiatric care.
No, you can't say they didn't try.
Yep. Oh, this is I had no idea about this. I did mild research before this. In the year prior to the murder, Ricky had been arrested for digging into a colonial-era grave inside a local cemetery.
What was he doing down there? Like, was he looting, or was he just like hanging with the skeleton? Because with Ricky, it really could go either way.
It really could, actually. I don't know what you would bury a colonial man with.
Well, I mean, there can't be much left of them at this point, other than bones, maybe. Do they go away?
They exist. I've learned from ancient Egypt. I've learned from ancient Egypt that bones are forever, unless they're not.
What does that mean? Why ancient Egypt, and then how are they forever unless they're not?
Well, like, ancient Egypt is the only place where I've heard of them digging up the oldest graves known to humans. And then I was like, well, their bones still exist. And then as I was saying that, I was like, but oftentimes when I've seen them, they're just like, don't touch it or it'll turn to dust. So, like, you know.
That sounds like something they would say in the movies.
Yeah, like I haven't seen a real skeleton from ancient Egypt up close.
I've seen a mummified person from ancient Egypt up close. but I didn't see the skeleton
cool.
underneath the wrappings. So who knows what was down there?
It's possible.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting fact. He was arrested for digging up that grave, and then he caught pneumonia, and he got treated at a Jewish hospital. Which, like, do you have to be Jewish to go there? I don't know the rules. I've never heard of a Jewish hospital, to be honest.
I mean, there's like religious hospitals that just serve everybody. They're just like, denominational. I don't think that's. I imagine there's quite a few Jewish hospitals up in New York.
Like, if someone's like in an ambulance and they get rushed to the hospital with a bullet wound, and they're like, "Oh, are you circumcised?"
No, why?
Let's check that before we bandage this gunshot.
Hey, we stitched you up. Also, we made one little cosmetic surgery for you. You'll thank us later.
Yeah, once you're in heaven.
Ugh.
So while he was in the hospital, his parents were like, "Hey, doc, this guy's got issues. Can you lock him up in a brain hospital?
Can you lobotomize our boy?"
And the doctor, here's the conclusion that the doctor came up with. Ricky exhibits antisocial behavior.
Yeah.
He is not psychotic nor a violent danger. So that's good.
But you know who else exhibits antisocial behavior? Tony Soprano. And look what happened there.
Yep. Also not a violent danger at all.
Exactly. An upstanding man.
That's fair. Let's see. What else do we know about this Ricky Casso character? He went to Cow Harbor Park and borrowed a radio from a friend.
That's okay.
That's on the night of the murder.
Oh. Did he just need some tunes before he...
And then he invited Gary to get high with the radio. And then they go up into the woods. They took mescaline, also known as purple microdots.
So was this premeditated, or was he like gonna just have a hang with this dude and then decides to murder him, like on the spot?
The crow.
The crow told him.
The crow told him as Satan.
But when did the crow tell him? When did the crow work his way into the timeline?
I'm trying to figure that out because honestly, I didn't do as much research as I let on.
I mean, you let on that you didn't really do any at all, so...
Yeah. So the teens smoked several bags of PCP before attempting to start a small fire. But all the firewood was a little bit too wet. So here's Gary, upstanding citizen, to be honest. He takes off his socks. He's like, we're going to use this. And then... he's like, you know what? This isn't enough. He rips off the sleeves of his denim jacket.
Wow, what a good guy.
He's like, I'm really going to help you guys.
I would want him on my tribe and Survivor, you know what I'm saying?
We are starting this fire. It's happening.
And he did it.
Yeah, it's not good.
What, starting a fire or...
Just the whole situation.
Yeah. Well, it can't be helped, you know.
Okay, here's an interesting fact.
Okay.
When Ricky was stabbing him in the eyeballs and was like, the article says commanded him to say you love Satan. Gary said, "I love my mother," which like,
whoa, another dark
Gary.
Twist to this story.
Good job, Gary.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, Ricky was like bragging about killing Gary to his friends. He said the crow cawed, something he interpreted as Satan's approval of the murder. He brought a bunch of people who didn't believe him to see the body before before they went back to bury him.
Ricky wasn't smart.
No. Like, he just killed him, left him in the woods, and then was like, hey,
You
everybody,
know what? I need to show somebody about this.
Pretty sick, right? I just murdered his face off.
People are like, wow, epic dude.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, the fucking the black circle guy, okay. And then he's just like, oh yeah, here he is. And they're like, oh damn, you did it. Was it because of AC/DC?
And the world may never know.
We may never know. And then they buried him in a shallow grave after they showed him off enough. That's it.
It's so funny to just show off. Hey, look at this guy I murdered. Wow. Hey, I'm going to go show some other people. Okay. Like, did any of the people that he showed, like, have anything to do with his arrest? Like, did he just show a police officer, be like, look what I did?
Pretty sick, right?
Pretty sick.
No, it doesn't say that anybody snitched.
That's
but
good.
It does say that the police had to use dogs to sniff out the body.
So, I mean, that's pretty good, I guess. Right?
Yeah. So his friend, who told most of this story, who was there, he signed 2 confessions. It was like, I was there, this is what happened. Ricky fucked him up. And then he was just like put on trial, and they're like, hey buddy, that's illegal. You're going downtown. And he's like, oh, like those confessions? Nah, I didn't mean them.
I was just kidding, man.
I thought we were just goofing around.
I was doing a bit, don't you see?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, a bit. I mean, that's get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was acquitted because he was goofing off on the confessions.
Wait, is acquitted? That's good, right? No.
Well, it's good for him.
Yeah. But
If the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
yes, I forget which one, because I'm like, acquit. No one ever says that word outside of
O.J. Simpson.
Outside of O.J. Simpson or outside of like the legal system. And it's like, just tell me if he got off or not, not in a sexual way, of course.
Never.
I don't want to know if people get off. Frankly, too many people tell me if they do or do not. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, don't tell me either. Nobody has, but don't start.
Yeah, nobody also has for me in quite a while, but
that's good.
Which is great. I sounded sad saying that, but I'm very happy. I'm doing very well. Just so everybody knows. Thank you. It's been like, we've done several episodes this year, and I haven't gone on one unhinged rant about anybody.
Nope. We have done several episodes.
Yeah. Wow. Weekly uploads. This is pretty big.
Pretty big.
How's the Candy Factory been, man? Anything happen?
No, nothing's actually happening. It's been very low key. I've been doing very little work.
That's great.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I have news, but I'm not going to reveal it until my news is finalized. But it's good news. It's work related news.
Okay.
But I
Not
need
related to me.
No, yeah, so you don't care. By the way, could I get my hands on some of the candy from the candy factory?
For sure. I can mail some to you.
Great. I would love a nice candy sampler.
I can do that.
I could do a little YouTube video since I can't do Pokemon videos anymore.
Do a little YouTube video.
The Pokemon Company has released an official statement saying that
about the McDonald's,
not just the McDonald's, all of them. Right now, McDonald's is doing a Pokemon card promotion as one of their toys, which is annoying. Well, what's annoying about it is that people have just been like buying up all of them from the McDonald's, like I think outside of Happy Meals or something. And people are also just like, buying pallets of shit from vendors too. Like I've joked in past episodes about a cabal of evil boys just standing around the Pokemon card aisle at Target and buying up all the cards, but that's literally what's happening. You can't even buy more than 2 card items without getting in trouble now. They have a little sign up. Not that there's any to buy, of course, because those 5 guys bought all of them, which is very irritating for me because I like buying them. I like doing the videos, but also these things are for like kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you.
Yeah, like me. Well, because it's like when I would go to like the card shop before the pandemic, and I would trade in my cards so I could get ones that had like, you know, the hot gym leaders on it, right? Anyway, like, you know, there'd be like little kids and stuff, and like it's cool like seeing like little kids into like a stupid hobby like that, you know what I mean? Like it's nice seeing kids like earnestly excited about Pokemon cards or whatever. It doesn't matter, but it's like a nice, you know, it's a nice vibe.
It's a wholesome.
Yeah, exactly. Moment. And so it makes me mad that like the target audience for this stuff, who, you know, seem pretty jazzed about Pokemon cards, like they can't do anything about it because like shitty adults, not like me, because I don't buy all of them. I buy like one thing like once a month. They bought everything out. Like no one can get any. It's annoying.
Yeah, adults love ruining things for children.
They really do. Like My Little Pony.
I wasn't gonna say it, but that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. God, yeah, I hate, dude. So many. With My Little Pony, if you're like an adult fan of My Little Pony in 2012, right now you're either a white supremacist or you've gone trans, which I think is very interesting. Or both. Yeah, in a lot of cases, it's both. A lot of online creators going trans recently, or well, recently within the last like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's trendy.
I guess, yeah.
It's a cool thing to do.
Yeah, you get some clout on Twitter for it.
That's all you need in this life.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, maybe you need a little bit more than that, but Twitter clout gets you very far, and I don't have any, and that's fine.
One day, you will be the proud owner of 500 followers.
If I get on like literally any of the reality shows I want to get on, I will probably have 4 digits of followers, which would be very exciting.
We can only hope.
But I'd have to delete like all of my tweets.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You'd probably just make a new Twitter.
Yeah, well, yeah, I could make like an official Twitter and then like heavily obscure the one that I'm currently using.
Yeah.
Make that the old alt that no one knows about.
Nobody.
Do not dox me when I become famous, please. Please don't get me canceled.
It's fine.
It probably won't happen.
Celebrities can do anything they want.
They famously can't. They famously will get fired from Disney for saying that being a Republican is in many ways like being a Jew in the Holocaust.
Which no one can say that that's wrong.
Well, actually, a lot of people have said that that's wrong. I would even go as far to say as that's not quite the best comparison to have made.
That's fair, in my opinion. It's a fair assessment.
Yeah, she's honorary bad boy, Gina Carano, getting fired for saying. Well, what's funny is that like a lot of people are like, yeah, she's transphobic, like get her ass, and it's like, well, they didn't get her ass for that. They got her ass for anti-Semitism, and apparently, according to what I read on Reddit, which is obviously very true. Yep. Disney was like looking for a reason to fire her for a while now, and they're like, "Well, this is great."
Yeah,
and honestly, it sounded like the way it was phrased that she was not a guaranteed hire for the next like season of The Mandalorian or other Star Wars spinoff stuff. It's like she was not employed with them and certainly will no longer be, is the way that I don't remember who released the statement, but I mean, shoot, man.
It's for the best.
All she had to do was just not tweet. She's not a good actress. She's really not good at all.
Yeah. Tweeting will be the downfall of every celebrity.
I mean, it's been the downfall of me with Sweeties.
That's true.
What blows my mind is I was talking to this one girl on Hinge like a while ago, and she's a big fan of Gina Carano's character in The Mandalorian because for those
Baby Yoda. I haven't seen it.
Well, she's buff. She's got a cool haircut, and she's a good looking lady that I'm sure bisexual women or non-binaries, I guess I should be saying, I was talking to a non-binary person on Hinge.
Non-binary women love buff women.
As do bisexual women. Anyway, this person I was talking to, big fan of Gina Carano, blah, blah, blah. Like she really wanted Gina Carano to do stuff to her. And I was like, all right. And then I was talking about at one point how 100 years ago, and even a little less than that, Italians were not considered white in the United States. Like Italian American immigrants weren't air quote white, right? This is factual.
Yeah.
No one's arguing this. And then she stopped talking to me over that, but she's standing like an actual not great person. Come on. Give me a fucking break. It's very likely she just found my Twitter and was like, oh, fuck this guy. And that's fair. But if she only stopped talking to me because of the truth of Italians, I mean, it's disrespectful to my culture.
It could be.
It's disrespectful to The Sopranos, which is in many ways all about the plight of the Italian American.
That's true.
Jesus Christ, man.
So
now I don't tell girls that Italians are POCs anymore. Sorry, or girls or non-binary people that look like girls.
Yeah, that's for the best. I find people do not like it
when you say Italians are POCs. They
feel like it's stealing valor.
I think if you say it in person, it goes off better because then you can be kind of goofy about it, and they're like, you're doing a goof.
Yeah.
If anything, women of color particularly like it when you joke about Italians being people of color as well. They like that. It's white women / non-binary people that look like women. Those are the ones that they don't like it when you joke about Italians being POCs. And I think that's interesting.
It's a little bit performative, you're saying.
You know what? I'm going to let the viewer decide what I'm saying, because who's to say what I'm saying? Certainly not me.
To say? Yeah. You never really know what you're saying.
I don't know if you mean you as in me or you as in a royal you, but either way, yes.
It's the royal you.
No one knows what I'm really saying.
the royal you in terms of this podcast.
Yeah. So just me. Fuck.
But also,
But who's on first?
Nice.
So we did it.
We did it. We full circle. The beginning of comedy.
And
the very first joke.
And then this is the end.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's pretty good. I like it. Anyway, speaking of celebrities that are bad and we don't like them.
Yeah.
Aubrey Graham. Ever heard of him?
Him? No.
Have you ever heard of Drake?
Oh, yes.
Then you've heard of Aubrey Graham. I'm sorry to say.
His name's Aubrey?
So, his name's Aubrey.
I can understand why he switched it to Drake.
Yeah.
Where did he get Drake from?
It's like a Toronto thing, I guess.
Okay. Oh, speaking of Toronto, I've started watching a TV show, but I'll get back to that. What's your thing about Drake?
Okay, so I have a conspiracy theory about Drake.
Okay. Did you pick this up in with your time in hip hop Twitter or?
No, this is actually something that I decided I believe on my own.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's probably very stupid. So here's just an interesting fact. The last publicly released Michael Jackson song was in 2018 on Drake's album Scorpion. Very bad album.
I don't think I listened to that one.
No, you should not either. So that's the last time anyone heard Michael Jackson, which means that Drake has to own the rights to those vocals.
Right. Well, in theory.
Well, like...
He could have worked out an agreement with Michael Jackson's estate, right?
Yeah. He has to at the very least lease them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And clear the rights. But Drake, he's a very rich man. So my theory is that he owns a lot of unreleased Michael Jackson tapes.
Because if he has that, where he theoretically could have much more.
Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of Michael Jackson songs that never came out. Like every artist who makes an album, they'll make like 40 songs and then release like 12.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that Drake owns tons of unreleased Michael Jackson songs and he's stealing the melodies and lyrics.
Yeah. I mean, that tracks. That sounds real.
Yep. So I choose to believe that it's real and no one can convince me otherwise.
Well, Drake's a pedophile.
He has been... That's also true. Yeah, he has been known to completely steal lyrics and melodies. He stole from Soulja Boy.
Soulja Boy, the famously honorable man who nobody should steal from.
No, he murdered a guy who tried to steal from him.
Wasn't Soulja Boy the one who also made the game console that was just like...
Not real?
Yeah. There was just a bunch of emulators.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Soulja Boy...
I think you're allowed to steal from Soulja Boy. I'm kind of on Drake's side with this.
Well, that was like Drake's first like breakout song. He stole from Kiss Me Through the Phone. And then he's stolen from a couple other people. I recently saw he stole from Outlanders, the television show. He just like took a speech from that and then rapped it as if it was something that he did. And then he was like, he had ghostwriters for a while, you know. So I think that he owns the Michael Jackson tapes. That's my thing. Also, he's a pedophile, and also I forget what the third thing was.
He wasn't that good on Degrassi.
No. Oh, I was going to say that Soulja Boy is the only person on Earth, I will say, that has the same energy as Kanye in interviews.
I'm not familiar with Kanye's energy.
He has dragon energy. What are you talking about?
Oh, of course. I don't make it a thing to do. I'm not a big interview watching kind of a guy, and I don't listen to Kanye or like his music that much. So
he has some wild interviews, and he says some very wild things.
Yeah.
And Soulja Boy also does that, and I feel like they should have a song together. I think it would go platinum.
You should tweet at both of them, see if you can make it happen. Maybe you could collab.
I don't think either of them looks at Twitter.
Yeah, Kanye seems like the kind of guy to just tweet and not look at anything for better or for worse.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not good at that whole side of the interaction.
No. And you know what? Not everyone can be.
He's good at everything else. So
he's great at everything else.
That's true. He's the smartest man alive.
Very talented. As is his daughter.
I will say his daughter is insanely talented.
Are you going to defend North and her painting skills?
That's a great painting.
Did she actually paint it? Or was she doing like a not a wine, you know, where you do the wine and paint thing where you have somebody like kind of telling you what to do and then it always comes out pretty good because you're being told what to do. Was she doing that minus the wine?
Yeah, she's 7. So,
well, I mean,
yeah, it was a guided painting. So the deal with that painting,
okay, I mean, it's like that's. I'm sure she did make it. It's not as impressive as.
Yeah, like if you zoom in on it, you're like, oh yeah, like this line work isn't actually that good. It just seems amazing from afar, but like up close, like it's still good. But you're like, oh yeah, like these are like very heavy strokes, and like they used a sponge for this part. You can tell.
I mean, it's good for a 7-year-old, but like given all the circumstances,
it's great for a 7-year-old.
All the like circumstances around it, it's like not unbelievably good. You know what I mean? It's like that's very believably like, oh yeah, I can believe that she did that.
A billionaire's family has a child who can get good art training.
Yeah.
So the deal with the art teacher is that she's been a teacher for like 30 years and she teaches children and she always makes them paint that exact painting and like guides them through the whole process.
Oh, well, yeah, then there's no way that these kids could possibly screw that up.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently it took like weeks of effort. It's not like it was like a 1-hour sit down. It was like, repetitive.
Yeah.
Going back to it. Yeah. So it's absolutely true. And Kim was very upset about the backlash that she didn't do it.
I mean, I think, she could have been more transparent about, like, I think, just as a parent, that's
her parent is transparent.
Nice. But like, I think like if she was a regular mom posting that on Facebook and like wasn't a famous person, I don't think anyone would bat an eye. You know what I mean? Because then, like in the comments, she could be like, "Oh, like this is what this was," and people would be like, "Wow, that's great. Your daughter's great."
Yeah.
But like people are because it's Kim Kardashian, everyone's like, yeah, and it's stupid. I don't know. I don't know why anybody really gave a shit about that whole thing. That was like a thing for a day or two.
It's because people are mad that they can't do it.
I mean, but they like if you had somebody to walk you through that painting, you could also do that. Like it's not like a talent thing. Anybody could do that.
Yeah. But it is good, and I wish that I had a painting like that in my in my history of art, but I'm not going to go through the effort, so that'll never happen.
We should go to one of those wine and paint things.
I would love that.
That'd be fun.
Us.
Yeah, it'd be fun for us. Oh, so I've been watching a Canadian TV show.
Okay.
And it's not Schitt's Creek, so I don't know what other Canadian programming there is, but would you be able to guess what I'm watching?
Trailer Park Boys.
No.
Is it a currently running show?
I think so.
Is it a comedy?
Technically, yes.
That does not narrow it down. Because all of our comedies are technically comedies. They're just not funny.
Yeah. Well, so I've been watching Kim's Convenience.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's...
I've never seen it, but there are ads for it all over the city.
Yeah. It's... Look, I'm not going to say that I'm finding the show funny for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But I think also the show is being funny on purpose for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean?
You're suggesting that the show itself is playing off of racial stereotypes.
It's like, isn't this Korean immigrant with a very thick accent funny because he's saying things in a very thick Korean accent and like is a stereotype of like a, you know, I guess I don't want to say Asian American because it's not in America, but
yeah, not American.
You know, that sort of stereotype parent, like, isn't that funny? And I'm like, is it? Am I allowed to laugh? Like, I am laughing at this, but am I supposed to? I can't tell what you're trying to do here, show.
Yeah, that's a lot of comedies I find. Not so much now. There's still some, obviously, but
this is why I was surprised when I was watching this. I'm like, oh, the humor here is just like
very base level.
This guy is just a funny old Korean man.
Yeah,
that's it.
A lot of comedy, like in the 90s and early 2000s, was just like, hey, my mom's got such a weird fucking accent. She always sounds like this. And then they just do like a generic Chinese accent.
Yeah.
And everybody laughs. It's a grand old time.
Well, even Fresh Off the Boat, that wasn't as much about that, but I think that was still part of it, was like,
yeah.
It's very easy to laugh at the wrong things on those shows. And it's hard to tell if you're supposed to or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm woke.
It's true.
This has been a very woke episode for me. What can I say?
I don't know that that's true. I think this has been a terrible episode, to be honest.
Well, you know, it's going to be posted irregardless.
Yep, it will. So if you're hearing this part, that means it probably wasn't a terrible episode.
Yeah. Or we don't care.
Or you literally have nothing else to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Follow the Twitter.
Woo!
Bad Boy Crimes Pod on Twitter. You can find the link to the Discord server.
That's everything.
That's it. Yeah.
You got any videos coming out?
Yeah, I have one that I need to film and edit, but that should be out by Wednesday. And then I'm going to pivot into doing some food sort of videos because I cannot buy Pokemon cards. I also have a song coming out soon. I'm working on it. Do you have any music lined up?
I do not. I'm working on stuff.
Nice. Yeah, it's the beginning of the year. There's just a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah, I am still working, full time at the candy factory. I am doing this podcast full time. I'm a busy guy.
Yeah, I'm full time also at the factory I work at.
Yeah.
And yeah, but being a podcast is a big commitment.
It actually truly is. You know how much research I got to do for this thing?
Same. I do lots of research for this show.
If this show was just like sit down and bullshit for an hour, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Just like a typical white guy comedy podcast. But this is a true crime podcast.
This is the best true crime podcast.
This is the best true crime podcast. You know how many true crime podcasts are just like, oh, we're going to talk about the Black Dahlia murderer for 17 episodes.
Yeah, that's boring.
Get over it, dude.
It's old news.
25 years ago.
We talk about the crimes that nobody else is talking about.
Nobody has talked about any of the crimes that we've done.
Yeah.
It's OJ, Casey Anthony, Kevin Spacey.
Gravity.
Yep, Gravity was a good one.
That was one of my... Whoever Arthur was talking about. Shout out to Arthur. Great content for the podcast.
Friend of the cast, Arthur, nailed it, and he should be hosting this podcast because he's so much better at it than we are.
Yeah. We can get a third mic.
Yeah, we'll have him back.
We need to play Smash Brothers again. It's been a while.
Yeah, we do.
They also need to add a new character again because that's the only time I ever play the fucking game is when they add somebody new.
I only play it when you decide that you're going to play it, so...
I don't really make decisions in my life. I just sort of float around and do stuff. And then if someone's like, hey, do you want to play Smash? I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's a thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll invite you.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be the person.
If you're in the Discord and want to play Smash, say so. Although I think the only person who we played Smash with has since left the Discord. Yep. We miss you. If you're still listening to this,
I don't know if he ever listened.
I
think so.
Well, if he is listening, know that
if you're out there,
know that we gave you a shout out.
Yeah, we love you.
Sure.
We hope you're good.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the show.
That's the show. We went over time.
Wow.
A lot of people have been asking for longer episodes.
This is a longer episode.
Here it is, baby.
I got to go melt my car as it is encased in ice.
I thought I was the one who lived in Canada.
Dude, it's going to snow here again on like Monday or something. I hate it. Well, I guess when you're listening to this episode, it will have snowed in Texas.
Well, good night.